Well, we may have quite the scandal going on here in LA. No, thankfully not with the LA Lakers, not with the LA Dodgers, but with the LA Clippers. According to Pablo Torre, Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers may have undergone a fraudulent, no-show job to give him $28 million in endorsement money. That being aside from his NBA contract, which would obviously make it illegal, them finding a way to give him under-the-table money to stay with their team and to compensate him more apart from his NBA contract, and that could come with a number of fines and punishments to their team too, including everything from draft pick loss, a $4.5 million fine, the voidance of Kawhi Leonard's contract and bird rights that come with it, the suspension of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, potentially the suspension of their general manager, and much more. Again, all of this coming from Pablo Torre, his findings stating that Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million endorsement deal for a quote-unquote no-show job with a fraudulent tree planting company, which was called Aspiration before they went bankrupt. They were funded $50 million by Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, a whole bunch of which went to Kawhi Leonard, over half of which went to Kawhi Leonard, and that he's actually in the court documents after they went bankrupt too. And here's what Pablo Torre had to say about it.
And what we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. So, David, if you will now finally flip over that paper.
He was groping that paper as you were talking.
What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration and all of their alleged fraudulence still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC. A tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
What I did next was pull the publicly accessible paperwork that KL2 Aspire LLC filed with California's Secretary of State, which happens to be the first document in front of you, Amin.
Okay.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration was this.
Ultimately, 0.
0.
I mean, I'm not sure about all of you guys, but that appears to be some pretty damning evidence here, both for the LA Clippers and for Kawhi Leonard. The fact that after going bankrupt, they are both on the list of creditors and the people that have claims from the company Aspiration after going bankrupt. The LA Clippers having a claim of $30 million, Kawhi Leonard having a claim of $7 million. Again, him appearing on there as a endorsement player for them, or rather endorsement celebrity. Somebody they owed money to and somebody they did sign a contract with, despite him never promoting them in any capacity, neither in person, on social media, or really anywhere that you can find that he literally even mentioned them. That's pretty fishy here. I mean, you don't simply give a guy $28 million for nothing. I mean, unless you're a guy like Steve Ballmer that has some money to give, and maybe you're trying to go around the NBA salary cap to give that player money to play for your team. That would be the only way it would make sense here to me. I mean, I'm not sure the dots line up in any other way here. Why would they give him money to do nothing for them, not promote them, not even mention them or show up to promote their company? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And with the LA Clippers having really conveniently gone under the NBA's first and second apron, the introduction of it being last season, and the fact that the Clippers conveniently got under it last season, getting under the first apron, once again being under the first apron this season, having guys like James Harden who took a pay cut, having other guys in their team that took a pay cut and many thought they would make more from a different team or potentially with a higher paid contract. It's a little bit too fishy here in my opinion to really have no relation to a potential scandal. And well, it's not the first time that Kawhi Leonard, or rather the group that represents him and not to mention his uncle, Uncle Dennis, have been accused of making illegal requests. Back in 2019, for example, when the Lakers tried to sign him and throughout the entire process, one report stated that Kawhi Leonard's uncle tried to make illegal requests to Lakers owner Jeannie Buss, this including endorsement money and likely some more under the table money that he wanted from them if they were to sign Kawhi Leonard. Or then a different report from Phoenix Suns reporter John Gamadero stating that Kawhi Leonard reportedly asked Toronto's owner Larry Tannenbaum to line up an extra $15 million in endorsement money when deciding his free agency back in 2019. So with that in mind, this really is not that shocking. If these reports can be believed, this might be an ongoing trend for Kawhi Leonard and the group that represents him. I mean, dating all the way back to 2019 now, over half a decade at this point, teams that have tried to sign him, have tried to retain him, have gotten him off of free agency, might have had to do it with a little more money that's not been allowed by the NBA, aka under the table, illegal money that would get you fined in some capacity by the NBA too. And well, if any of that can be proven, both this time or any of the previous reports that say that about Kawhi Leonard and co, then there definitely could be some punishment on the way for him here too. Whether that be a suspension for Kawhi Leonard, whether that be a fine to him, whether that be the actual avoidance of his contract and bird rights, whether that be a fine and suspension to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, maybe all of it together, there's definitely a lot of implications here that could affect the Clippers and therefore the entirety of the NBA and especially the Western Conference. After all, many have picked them to be a top 5 if not a top 3 team in the Western Conference this year, many even picking them to supplant a team like the Lakers in that top 3. You know, with other teams like the OKC Thunder, Denver Nuggets, maybe the Minnesota T-Wolves, many pick the Clippers to be in that top 5 too. But now with this accusation and potential punishment that might come with it, how could that affect them? Well again, if that would mean in any way losing Kawhi Leonard, either via suspension or potentially his entire contract be voided, that would obviously have some massive implications to their team. However, is it very likely? Well, unfortunately I'd probably say no. I mean, we haven't had a scandal of this capacity or potentially this kind of capacity in quite some time now, probably dating back to the Minnesota Timberwolves 25 years ago, in which they lost 5 first-round draft picks, were fined $3.5 million, the contract of the player they tried to sign and kind of gave him under the table money, Joe Smith, that contract being voided, and his bird rights that came with it, their owner being suspended, their general manager Kevin McHale being forced to take a leave of absence. All of that came with that, and I'm not sure that would be replicated again. I mean, in recent more tampering issues, we've simply seen second round draft picks being taken away, at most maybe a first round draft pick, but we haven't seen anything like what happened to the T-Wolves in quite some time now. Again, literally 2.5 decades. And while I definitely would compare it to that if, again, this is found to be true, if Kawhi Leonard has in fact been taking under the table money from the LA Clippers and from Steve Ballmer, him founding or partially founding an entire company to pay him with that money, then maybe we could see something similar to it, but maybe not quite to that amount. I mean, as a Laker fan, I definitely want them to be punished if it does turn out to be true, even apart from them being a Western Conference opponent and, you know, kind of wannabe rival. The fact that the Lakers tried to sign Kawhi Leonard back in 2019, reports saying again that Uncle Dennis wanted under-the-table money from them or potential endorsement money that would have not been allowed. You know, I guarantee if the Lakers signed him and this was found to be an actual thing that they did to get Kawhi Leonard, I guarantee the entire NBA world would be pushing for them to get a pretty big punishment, one even bigger than the T-Wolves got 25 years ago, one that would be bigger than I guarantee the LA Clippers will get if found to be guilty with this. Let's be fair here and not let them off scotch-free. I mean, if this is found to be true or any other team doing the same thing, Adam Silver really has to crack down on it. If they're going to be serious about this new CBA and the first and second apron that come with it, you cannot be letting teams do this to get under that first and second apron. Again, the LA Clippers have done it in the past 2 years now. If the only way they did it was kind of doing this under the table, both with Kawhi Leonard and maybe other free agents they signed too, that cannot be allowed. I mean, there's not even a point to the salary cap or CBA at that point. If a team like the Clippers can circumvent it and kind of avoid it by doing an under-the-table deal like this and not get punished for it, then what's the point? Every other team should do the same thing. I mean, why would the Lakers sign LeBron to a fully maxed contract when they could sign him for $15 million less, give him that $15 million or even more money apart from the NBA contract, with endorsement deals that might even be illegal, with a company that's partially founded by their owner, then terminated and bankrupt only a few years later? Why not do that and get another free agent with LeBron, like the LA Clippers that may be done with Kawhi Leonard? Why do any of that and try to abide by the NBA salary cap and CBA rules if you don't have to? I mean, those are only my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If found to be guilty, then what kind of punishment do you think the Clippers will or maybe should get? Do you think it will simply be a slap on the wrist or maybe a serious punishment, kind of similar to the Minnesota Timberwolves back in the day? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about this report and with the allegations of both Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I would greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.